I want to bring on the screen. Let's bring Joe Murray on the screen. I also want to bring Michael Vass on the screen. We got with us, guys. What are your thoughts? I want to kind of go back to you, Joe, for a second. Just overall, I'm sure you have things on your mind.
Sorry, I muted myself because I'm over here yapping along. I'm really I can't believe this. I was watching on Fox this disinformation police that the administration is now, and the timing is awfully weird, that Elon Musk is now taking over Twitter to make it a free speech platform. Now, I know you said something about Trump did he did his first tweet. Is he now back on Twitter?
No,
not on Twitter. It's on Truth.
Oh, on Truth. Okay, because
yes.
I'll go back when they bring Trump back. I left all that social media stuff because I thought it was horrendous. The First Amendment is so important. We need it. And I don't see how this is constitutional, this disinformation police. We have a right to believe in Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. And who are you to tell me I can't believe in the bunny? So
yes.
I think that, we've gone awry with the Constitution, and we really got to get back to that. And I think very soon people will see the great service that President Trump did by nominating all these conservative justices, particularly in the Supreme Court, because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's cases going up there. There's some good Second Amendment cases, some New York right to carry cases. We had Heller, which was the premise case. Now these right to carry cases. So I think you're going to see, and I hate it even as a criminal defense attorney, the federal government overstepping and trying to, get into all aspects of our life. And I try to push back with, my cases and what I do, and I advocate. And, it's the abuses of the Commerce Clause. Like the federal government, a lot of these cases, even gun cases now, well, if the gun was made or used and transported in interstate commerce, tell me anything that's not made or produced and transported in interstate commerce. Does that mean the federal government now has carte blanche to legislate and then as their, prosecutors are in the executive branch, now prosecute? I mean, we've lost our dual sovereignty. So I'm so glad. I think a lot of people are going to see the pushback by this Supreme Court, where they're going to now look at this and say, wait a minute, this is an infringement. These more conservative justices are going to look at the language and the original intent and actually do their job and not be a super legislature.
Yeah, Michael, I'll go to you.
Yeah, let me piggyback off that, Joe, because first of all, it's not constitutional to be able to have this information. It violates our First Amendment. I mean, if I want to say that I believe the world is flat, Bigfoot is alive, and that there are green aliens on Mars that are going to turn the moon into green cheese and serve it to me underwater in their city, I can say that and I can believe that. That is my right by birth as an American citizen, which, again, let's remember, the Constitution doesn't give us rights. It is a document of negative confirmations. It is meant to limit the government, never us as individuals. And it's only when we agree that we are able to give up some of our rights to pass a law that we all agree on to be able to enact that. So that's the first thing. So it's absolutely patently unconstitutional, but it's also a absolute political violation. It is political at its core, because they're not going to say that I cannot talk about the world being flat. They're not going to question whether I think there are little green or gray men on Mars. No. They're going to come after, I'm a black conservative, and I say that the ghost gun ban is useless, just like the New York SAFE Act, just like red flag laws, because when I look at the data, it shows me that crime has never been slowed down, and it has never protected a single human being on the face of the earth. And that is what they're going to come after and say, well, you can't say that. I got suspended by YouTube because I quoted CBS and Forbes. They talked about a CDC report, which I'm not going to mention or go into, but they mentioned it. They had two different opinions. I put them up side by side on screen and said, hey, folks, what are we supposed to believe? both are credible, internationally credible news sources, supposedly, and they have totally opposite opinions of the same report and the same data. And I got banned for a week because of that. That's what this disinformation organization is for. It's a ministry of truth. Going a little bit further, the public is waking up, but it's very slow and very difficult. And everyone out there should do this. Everyone you've seen on this show today, you need to go and like their channels and subscribe to their channels. I'm not saying that just for me. I'm saying that for everyone. You know why? Even if you don't necessarily agree, to be able to preserve your right of free speech. Because after they get done silencing us, the big mouths that are talking out here, they're coming after you. And if no one else is around screaming to try and protect your rights, you don't have any rights. And that's why they try and suppress us. That's why they don't like us being able to speak, because we are giving the example out there. They like to make you think there are no black conservatives. Hello, what do you think I am? And guess what? I was when I was at the People's Convoy in Albany that got no coverage whatsoever. Guess what? There were a bunch of black people there too, and libertarians as well. We exist. And you know what they do instead? They call, like the faculty at SUNY Broome, a state university of New York, they called the police on me for speaking my mind before the fact, before I have even shown up at the event to try and intimidate and silence me. And I guarantee you, if they ever try and get to me and they have success, which won't happen while I breathe, they are going to steamroll all over you. So you need to stand up for that.
And the power of the internet is extremely terrifying. I mean, the government, wants all the access they can get, and now putting in these new regulations, it's only going to hurt us citizens more and more. I mean, Biden, it's funny how didn't even mention anything about this DOJ initiative until Twitter was bought by Elon Musk. I mean,
it didn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, I'm frightened. Because if we can't get our voices out there, if we can't utilize platforms and independent media, then we're screwed. Because the whole objective and the agenda for corporate is they want to just take over. They want to take over every little guy, and they just want it to be their way, and just a few channels of spewing propaganda, and that is not good for anybody. And I just think we need to fix things, because the way they want to do regulations and the tactics that they're providing are no different than how China is orchestrating their technology platforms and their channels. I mean, if Biden had his way, they would absolutely go along with that, and we would be completely screwed. We're lucky that we have at least a few people that are in there, saving us. But I mean, there's still politicians doing a terrible job, but it could be a lot worse, I guess. But it still is pretty bad right now.
Well, I'll give you a great example for everybody, and I don't mean to cut you off, Pastor. I'm going to let you go. I want to give everyone a test. Here's a way to test if we are being honest and true. Go to your politician. I don't care if they're left, right. I don't care who it is, and I don't care what level of government they are in. Go up to them and say, "Okay, you want gun control, or you're against gun control. What are the numbers?" Ask them, what are the numbers? See, I've been doing this for 10 years. Every year, I look at the FBI, the Crime in the USA report. I look at the New York State GIVE report. You can look them up yourself. This is public information. I routinely FOIA the New York State government and several of the states around this nation to try and get the data that they have on red flag laws, as an example. I'm just using guns just because I brought it up. It's on my mind. Ask them these things and say, okay, you're for it, you're against it. What are the numbers? If they can't tell you what the number is, they don't know why they're for it or against it. And that means you should not vote for them. Get someone else in office.
True.
But go right ahead, guys.
I do got to wrap up. I got to wrap up here in about 2 minutes. Joe, I'm going to give you the last minute. Joe, I'm going to go to you real quick, and then Pastor, I'll give you one more minute. But I literally will get cut off here at the 6 hour mark. I got about little over 5 minutes. But go ahead, Joe. I'll give you a
I'll
minute.
be quick. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. I'm glad to be back on the show. And my last parting words to everyone is please be engaged. If you like what you see and what you hear, and get out there and talk to your candidates and vote. Make the people listen to you, the politicians. Thank you. Good night.
Well, absolutely. And what are you working on right now? What's next for you? Real quick.
I have so much going on. And like I said, I've been inundated with these mandate cases, and we're fighting back. It's not looking good, but we are still going to fight this, and I'm hoping that we can make some progress.
Excellent, excellent. And Pastor Rodney Evans, I'll give you a minute. Give us some final thoughts.
Well, as y'all were talking, I think we're at a point now that the people in America don't believe nothing that the government says. They might set up a group of people to try to tell us what is facts and what is not facts. They don't know what the facts are. So I think we're at a point we don't believe them. I know we definitely don't believe fact checkers. They're all left-leaning, so nobody believes them. But just like Joe said, I think everybody's going to have to get involved. We've got to keep speaking up. We got to keep doing what we're doing, and just like the other person said, everybody needs to support each other. You know, I've got a couple YouTube channels. You know, mine's a little different than yours, but I'm on here a lot with you, Roy. I do camping. I do ministry videos.
Yeah.
But then I've got my camping ones on Rumble. But when I put it out, hey, follow my YouTube channel, my Rumble channel. Oh, forget YouTube.
Yeah.
Well,
I do gotta let you run here real quick though. But tell everybody where they can find you.
You can find me on social media with Rodney Evans, or Go No Further, or We're On Our Way.